we live? Yes. Let's go live on all platforms. What is going on? Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thursday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi, and I help folks just like you, just like me, make some extra money using the social media. Sorry, using social using social media. Why not? This whole gig economy is for real. What is happening if you are looking for a side gig? Drop the word me in the comments and I'll get back to you after the live. If you're joining me live, let me know where you're tuning in from. Would always be nice to know. I'm from Southern California. Don't hold that against me. I'm a nice guy from Southern Cal. If you're not following me, I mean, why not? Why not? Let's go. Follow me and I will follow back for sure. So, I'm praying that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you were in America. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I'm praying that you had a wonderful one. You spend it with family, with friends, with those whom actually you are grateful and thankful for. Wouldn't that be nice? Not with people that you're like, you know. I hope that you had a good one. And excuse me. Normally for Thanksgiving, I usually there's a um, there's a live that I usually do that it kind of fits in with Thanksgiving, but today I'm gonna kind of change things up. I'm gonna change things up, and I think you're gonna appreciate it. Jody, how are you? Melissa, Ryan, what is good? As you're joining me live, let me know where you're tuning in from. Would be nice to know. What is my age? That is awesome. Since I don't have anything to hide, I'm 52. But hey, let's go. Thank you for joining. If you're joining me live, let me know where you're tuning in from. And I will tell you, I am from Southern Cal. If you're not following me, follow me because I'm so awesome. I'll tell you all day myself. So let's get into it tonight. Let's get into the topic for tonight. So, this whole thing about being grateful, being humble, uh, it's for real. And there may be, in my mind, there was maybe until today actually, um, and it's Rocky. My picture, my background picture is Rocky, rebellious. I don't know about that. It's Rocky. So, have you not seen the movie Rocky? So, all right, let's get into it. So, sorry. So tonight, this whole thing I've had a little bit of a struggle with, right? I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to be um, humble, grateful, and be content with what I have, and you know, not be greedy. Um, be grateful for what you have. You've heard that 100 times, maybe just today, right? Be grateful what you have and all this stuff. Well, that's great and handy. That's I love that, and I think that's very important. But then, what happens if you're grateful and thankful for what you have? There's a big danger in that. Rocky joined. What? What? There's a big danger in that, in being grateful and humble and thankful for what you have. Hear me out. Hear me out. Some of you may just be like, oh. um, Jay, what's up? I see you on Instagram. We're live on all channels, by the way. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Let's go. Later on X, Threads, and LinkedIn. You joining me? Let me know where you're tuning in from. From Ariel, what is happening? Frappuccino. Oh. What is good? Thank you for the follow. I'll follow back for sure. Um, so, no, uh, let me do something like this. Hold the line. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. So, there may be a danger in being humble and content with what you have, because once you are content to what you have and you know, you say, well, I have enough, that word enough, um, then you stop really trying and push. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Sydney. Sydney, thank you. I appreciate you. So you may not push as hard. You may not go for it. You may not. You may just kind of start floating, right? You may not really um, give it all you got, because then it would mean that you would have more, right? I appreciate you. You would have more, and having more then doesn't go with what you already have if you're supposed to be content with it, right? Do you see how that could be dangerous? It could make you very stagnant. It could make you very routine. It could make you very non-progressive, because you're content. You're like, I'm happy with what I have, and the good Lord has blessed me, and I'm good, right? And I just don't need more, and you know, we're grateful. Here's the big issue. It's not that when you want more. Now, here's the thing. It could come from greed, obviously, like wanting more, greeding for more. I'm not talking about that. But if you're supposed to, the good book talks about it. I have it from me. The good book talks about it all the time. Don't fall in love with what? Money, right? Don't let it rule you. Don't let it control you. But at the same time, there's so many parables in the book that encourage you to do more, encourage you to live an abundant life, encourage you to actually give more. Do if you the parable of talents, if you're given one talent, and then the boss man comes back after a while and says, well, what'd you do with one talent? You're like, well, I was humble. I was just grateful for having one talent. I don't think that's what the good book says. The good book says, let me have that one talent. I'm gonna give it to this guy. He was grateful, thankful, but he took that one and then, So you having what you have, being grateful, being content to it, it's great, but don't let it stop you from pursuing your purpose. I talked about this the other night. Your purpose, my purpose, is not to be stagnant. Does that even go? Like, does that even float in the sentence when you say, my purpose is just to have enough, and just be grateful for what I have? Those people who have changed the world, what if they said that? What if they said, my purpose is just to have enough and be humble? What would happen to all the charities? What would happen to all these shelters? What would happen to all these kids and families and homeless and food and schools and nurses? What would happen to them? The answer is they wouldn't be there, because everybody would be just content with what they have. They would never want to be more, get more, to give more. There's a big danger in saying, oh, I'm so grateful for what I have. Okay. you can bump that gratefulness, right? If you're grateful for now, and if this goes here, could you be grateful more? Why not? It's even your money, dude, right? So if you can increase your gratefulness as your stuff grows, whatever you're into, right? Then you can definitely pursue purpose in order to do more, give more. Hey, listen, if you donate, let's just say you donate $1,000 a month. That's a good chunk of change, right? Let's say you donate $1,000 a month, and let's say you make $10,000 a month, and you donate 1,000, and you've kind of routined yourself to give that 10%. Now, do you agree that the 1,000 you give, no matter who you give it to, like a charity or whomever, it actually does good for some people? Yeah, right. Otherwise, you wouldn't give it. I'm hoping you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't give 1,000, for mass destruction. You would help somebody. You would want to help. Now, let me ask you this: if your income is $10,000 a month and you're giving $1,000 a month for charity, would you agree that if you were to make $20,000 a month, you could possibly give $2,000? It's biblical, yes. Right? You give more, right? But why? Because you made more. Now, could that 2,000 do more than your 1,000? My math checks out. Oh, good. Right? Yeah, of course it could do more. You made more, you gave more. It's that simple. And then you can also be more grateful for giving more. Imagine the people that give hundreds and millions of dollars. Imagine those people. Imagine the guy that went to I think 6 different Walmarts, I want to say, a couple of years ago, on 2 nights before Christmas, and paid off everything that was on layaway. He went to 6 Walmarts 2 days before Christmas and paid everything off that was on layaway. And nobody knew his name. He just went, paid cash, and left. Do you think because he was poor and he was content with what he had, his job? I'm just so content that I had. No. Bro, what's my point? My point is, I don't really have time for you. So that's what you get. So the next time you're going to be humble, you're going to be grateful, which is awesome. I mean, I don't deny that. That's one thing that is the foundation, right? If you don't have that, then the whole house is going to be very shaky, right? So if you have the foundation, and the foundation is to be grateful, be humble, be thankful for whatever you have, but don't sit on what you have. Nowhere in no book of any kind says be grateful for what you have and don't move. Stay right there. Nobody says that. Nobody says go to your job, work your way to being flat. They never say that. They say work your way what? Up the ladder, not stay the same forever. Nobody says that. So being grateful and thankful for what you have is essential for building upon that, right? So don't get it twisted. Because you're grateful, you're humble, doesn't mean you got to sit on your butt and kumbaya, my lord. and say, well, I'm humble and grateful, and that's it. No, no. The point is, you're grateful, you're humble, but you can push more. You can do more. You can become more. You can give more value. I talked about this the other day. The owner of Lobby, right? He gives 50% of his profit every year to charity. 50%. It's estimated that this year he's going to give $80 million. Do you think they're going to do some good with that? You know, what if he opened a kiosk and said, "Well, I'm content. I'm good to go right now. I'm just really good." And instead of 80 million, he would give $800. Does that make sense? It makes no sense. So we can't use that as an excuse. The good book says multiply, not sit still. It doesn't say that. So, on this day of Thanksgiving, where you're giving thanks, you're reminded to give thanks. I think Thanksgiving should be every day, but if you're reminded to give thanks, but give $1 or $2 folk on the street. What do you think about that? I've talked about that before, and yeah, it a couple of dollars. If you, let's say, for example, you buy somebody a sandwich, a homeless person buy a sandwich, or you give them $5 or something. Think about it this way: what does that $5 do for them? Probably not much. Most likely, I mean, let's just be honest. They're probably, if it's cash, they're probably going to spend it on drugs, right? Street drugs, most likely. If not, they'll probably buy them a sandwich, right? Now, you'll feel great about yourself all day that you bought a homeless person a sandwich, or you give him, some cash. You'll feel great about it yourself all day. But what have you done for them? Nothing. In fact, you probably have encouraged them to stay poor because you're rewarding them for being poor. I know that that's just a really different mentality. I know I get, you know, um, you don't. Here's my thing. There was an incident. I remember I was walking into a grocery store. There was somebody standing there with I think 2 or 3 kids. I did a live on this a few months ago. 2 or 3 kids on the front, and oh, feed them, feed my, please give me something so I can feed my kids, right? I'll share with you the message, right? Um, Feed so I can feed my kids, and I went into the store. I wouldn't help. That's just me. I know I'm mean. I know. I go to the store. I walk in and I just stop, and I come right back out. Now I don't have any kids. Okay, I get ridiculed for this all the time, but I feel like I have a good grip on kids and raising kids and principles and all that stuff. But that's a whole other topic. But so I walk out. I come back to him, and I say, "Hey, how long have you been standing out here for?" He goes, "It was a guy. It was a guy. It was." He goes, I don't know, about 3 4 hours." I go, "You've been standing here 3 4 hours with your kids?" And he goes, "Yeah." Um, and then he goes, I go, "So you've been standing in front of the store begging for cash from everybody that walks in and teaching your kids this is what it takes to live. And you want me to reward that for you." And he just stood there and looked at me. I said, "You're healthy. You have an iPhone. You're standing here begging for cash, and I'm supposed to give you $5? How much am I supposed to give you? $100? $500? $5? And this is what you teach these kids? I don't know. I don't support that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't support that. I gave him an offer. I said, hey, listen, I have an opportunity where you can make some money instead of standing here in the sun in front of your kids begging strangers for $5. You could actually run a business on your phone. I can show you how to do it. And you know what he told me? He goes, no, thank you. I'd rather stand here. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? It just doesn't make any sense to me, right? And I've sat with the homeless and I've talked. Hey, listen, I there was a time I literally have stood in line with the homeless for one loaf of bread. Like I've been through a few things. So you know, bro, you don't have to be here. Lala, you're about to get blocked. Good night. Have a great night. Um, so it's just one of those things. I wouldn't teach those principles to my kids. Even if I had to beg, I wouldn't bring my kids along. Like you're making me feel guilty and bad because of these kids, and they're gonna be learning this. I mean, that just blows my mind. And the guy's texting on his iPhone. I mean, maybe somebody can explain that to me because I don't get it. And the message of this, yeah, you can have a conversation with them. You can talk to them. Some of these guys are um, just very unfortunate stories. I mean, I met a guy. I want to say his name was Larry. This guy really affected me. He would go behind Barnes and Nobles at night, like on the weekends. He said he would go there and they would. This is years ago, and they would throw away old books, and he would just grab all the books and he would just read all those books during the week. Some of these guys are real human beings that have been affected by real stuff. We can't judge, right, unless we know the whole story. And so I like to do something that helps, not just you know one meal and not do much. But if I can give them an offer, if I can help, if I can really put them like put something valuable in their hand, or in their lives, I'd rather do that. You know, I just I've had rock bottom 3 times, and I just I just I don't see myself like encouraging that behavior. Especially these days. These days, and anybody can make a couple bucks online or whatever. You know, so I just can't really support that. I can't really feed into that. So I have a hard time doing that. Um, but I love to volunteer my time for homeless and shelters and things like that. I've done stuff like that. Soup, even I've done a volunteer session at Soup Kitchen one time. So I'm totally cool with those things. But I feel like I need to do a little bit more than just that. So hopefully that helps. And the message of this live is that, since you asked, the thing is, you can be grateful, you can be thankful, you can be humble, but that doesn't mean you need to stay stagnant and not improve, not progress, not reach for more. Don't confuse that with not being, you know, content and humble. No, it doesn't say love what you have, stay where you are. It never says that. It's always growth and progress, right? Staying humble, staying grateful, not falling in love with the possessions and the and the wealth, if you would, right? Staying humble and being able to do more for people, becoming of more value. Imagine if you could, if you had the position, if you were in a position where you could get that homeless guy a job, wouldn't that be more meaningful than the $5? Probably, right? So, and that comes with you doing more for you. I've talked about this before. Your poverty, my poverty, you staying here, me staying here, serves nobody. Nobody wins by that. You don't win. I don't win. The people who need us don't win because we can't help them, right? We can only help if we're progressing and we're really pursuing our purpose, because then we fall into the track that we're supposed to be on that train, and everything else is just a blessing. So hopefully that helps. Sydney, does that help? Hopefully that helps. I'll connect with you after this. Make sure you follow me. If you're not following me, I don't know if you're following me or not. Follow me. I'm super awesome. And maybe I'll struggle with understanding their mindset. I can never manipulate someone. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're pretty good. So some of these guys, I talked to one guy and I said, how much do you usually make a day? And he goes, I think this was a few years ago. I don't remember how long, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, I make about, at about $40, $50, I stop. So he said, whenever I make about $50 that day, I'm done for the day. And I go, how long does that usually take? He goes, oh, it takes about maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, depending. 4 hours, they make $50 and they're done for the day. That's the mindset. The mindset is not set, let me more. People are helping me. Maybe I can put this back into my life. You're saying no startup, but I want an investor? I'm confused. Right? So hopefully with that, you guys got some love. I appreciate the follow. I'll follow back for sure so we can talk and clarify. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. Drop your thoughts, your comment. A pretty wild story, right? Pretty wild story. Yeah. Crazy story, yeah. I appreciate you, Sydney. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. My name is Sean Azimi, and it's simple what I do. I help folks just like you. Well, it all started with me because I needed it. But I help people just like you, just like me, to make some extra money using the whole gig economy, online thing, online space. If you're not using it, oh my goodness, what are you doing? It's a lost opportunity, I'm telling you. If you're open to taking a look, maybe you've been kind of scratching your head, especially these days, the holidays. I mean, come on, you want the write-off, tax write-off, you want some extra cash, you don't want to go to your credit cards, well, we can do that. I can show you what I do, how I do, and if it's a fit, we'll rock and roll. If it's not, no big deal. You go your way, I go my way. If you're open to that, drop the word me in the comments, follow me, message me, and I will chat back with you. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.